Welcome to the Never Been Promoted podcast and YouTube channel. I'm on a mission to help you cut the time to all the things that are holding you back so you can unleash your entrepreneur. Welcome to Never Been Promoted. Hi, I'm your host, Thomas Helfrich. Our mission is to help entrepreneurs get better at entrepreneurship by, cutting the ties, the things holding them back. I'm not sure when this will air exactly. This is live, but this is the first episode of 2025. Yes. So 1 full year completed. It's been a good full first year. It was great. It became a top 5% podcast globally. We got 1 million subscribers on YouTube somehow, and the guests, over 300 guests came on the show. So it's I look forward to 2025 and what we're going to do with it. But for any good podcast, as you know, you must have your hair feathered perfectly. So that, let me get that done real quick. That's right. Right now, my guest is in the backstage, probably going, "What did I sign up for?" Well, Lou, you're about to find out. It's gonna be great. No, Lou Bowers is our guest. She's a marketing vision, getting seen, brand expert. We're going to really get into the ideas of mindset, of how you get to think about your business and how you get seen, and these little nuances that make such a difference in how people perceive you. And so her journey is an amazing one, and I love what she's building, and we're gonna have a good conversation as well. If this is your first time here, I do appreciate you checking it out. And if you're listening, just stay with it. We have fun. We have good insight. You're going to learn a little bit about her business and what you can do in your life as well. If you've been here before, I do thank you. Only call to action I have right now is check out cutthetie.com. It's a mastermind group that we have from the guests that's how you get into it, is becoming a guest. And it's a bunch of entrepreneurs that are all there to help each other cut ties to stuff. So everybody there gives an hour of their time every month, and they get an hour of somebody's time to help them cut a tie to something holding them back. So check it out, cutthetie.com. Enough shameless plugs. Let's bring in our guest, Lou Bowers. Lou, how are you?
Hello.
You doing well?
I actually appreciate the hair thing. I don't know if you can tell, but hair is very important to me. So
those listening, her hair is an Aquaman green velvet. Like, imagine a cool nightclub couch.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Love that.
Not that I want to sit in your head. That would be weird.
No, thank you. No.
So I have this keyboard cleaner, and at the end of every show, there's always like this 3-second lag. So at the end of it, I started just feathering my hair at the end, just till the stream ended, because no one sees that part because they've already, they all checked out. But now I'm creating the loop effect where I'm doing it at the beginning. So you just don't know when the show started or ending.
Keeping people on their toes.
Right. It actually feels good. It kind of cools the forehead. If you're listening, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Just check out the video. You'll see it. Lou, thanks for joining. Were you, it's not dialing in. Where are you videoing in from today?
I am in British Columbia, Canada.
British Columbia, is that like Vancouverish?
I'm about 3-4 hours from Vancouver. I live in Kamloops, and people are often like, "What's a Kamloops?" And I'm like, "It's where I live."
Isn't that just south of Fruit Loops?
You know what? There's a lot of like Facebook groups called like Fruit Loops and stuff like that are for our local communities and stuff. So
3-4 hours in Canadian, because Canada is massive. That's like 20 minutes. So for most people, so that's like really not a big deal. 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
I've never been to British Columbia. So I've been to most of the U.S., but the northwest of the U.S. and then British Columbia, I've not ventured into. It looks incredibly beautiful. It's on the to-do list. But then I'm like, do I go freeze or do I go somewhere warm? And warm always wins.
Oh, but I live in a desert climate, so in the summer-ish time, well, from probably about May until September at least, it's like Arizona here, right? Like it's very hot and very dry, and so yeah.
We my wife and I went to we dropped our kids off at some camp near Montreal for 2 weeks, just in the middle of the forest. We're like, good luck, and literally, I wish it was pretty much that. And then we went to Banff for and so people know it's in like Calgary. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what's Providence? I can't think about it.
Alberta.
Thank you, Alberta. Holy cow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Canada is, absolutely beautiful. It's I really liked it. It was nice. And we saw a grizzly right in our path. It was great. It was fun. It was fun.
Nice.
Frightening. Okay, let's talk about you a little bit. Okay. So lubhours.com. So you got your company on your name. So you can't screw it up. You can't do anything illegal. Your whole it's all shot. Like
Right.
you're taking the big
Exactly.
risk. Tell me about a little about what your expertise is. Like, so start with kind of what your company does a little bit and what its focus, and we'll back into your story.
Sure, absolutely. I do a few things. I do consulting for those people who, their social media is still very much their baby and they're not ready to hand it over. But sometimes having an extra brain there to come up with ideas, that sort of thing is really helpful. Or even like body doubling so that you are actually getting your marketing done, but you have me just as a consultant, as somebody to bounce ideas off of. So that's part of it. I also do done for you, where I will take over your entire social media marketing, as well as I can do email marketing and all of that sort of stuff. And it's really all about having my clients show up consistently as the face of their brand and be really visible, because as I say in networking meetings and in all of my Instagram videos, I help you get eyeballs on your business because nobody can buy from the best kept secret.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point. Now, in your business, do you want to talk about how you even got into this? Because
Sure.
marketing is often where people fall into as a second career. They're like, oh, marketing, I
Yes,
can do that.
you're
And like
absolutely right.
engineer to distance runner. I mean, you name it. Like, oh, I'm a marketer now. So how did you fall into marketing?
Sure. So I was married for a very, very long time. And at that time I was a parenting coach. And so I knew a lot about how to soothe brains, dopamine, how to make people feel good, kind of
Yeah.
tantruming parents and kids feel good, keep it calm and all of that good stuff, and just feel good about, decisions and regulate and all that good stuff. And I did a lot of marketing in that. And then fast forward, I did get divorced and had to take a look at my life and go pivot, and what can I do and what do I know how to do? And so I kind of just said to a friend who had zero social media at all for their business, I said, let me take it over, see what I can do, see if it works. It worked. And I started marketing myself. I started marketing other people. And now it's a whole ordeal. It's snowballed.
Nice. That's amazing. Congratulations for the bounce back and pivot. When you're a
Thank you.
parenting coach, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
Oh, I don't.
It's when it becomes apparent.
Oh, there you
Thank you.
go.
That in fact is a dad joke.
Yes.
Only a few of us are laughing, and it's just me. Hey, 50% of us are laughing at that joke right now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So you're in a business now. One thing I find it, as a marketing person as well, if you will, is it can become quickly unscalable in your business. And that's a great, by the way, everyone should start that way, just doing the work. And are you finding that's where you are now, or are you scheduled, are you bigger than that, or how, because that's a problem in the marketing age. You can only do so much yourself. And then you're in this kind of, oh, I lost a client cycle of revenue. And tell me about where you are in your cycle of your business.
Sure. So just this year in September, I decided to make some big moves with pricing and systems and that sort of thing. And I did lose some clients. So October got a little scary, but it bounced back so much faster than I anticipated it would. And that's because, I did put a lot of work into it, right? I figured out how to gain more visibility for myself through articles, podcasts. I met a lot of local businesses for coffee. I started a networking event so that, I could offer people, hey, come to my networking event, get more eyeballs on you. And at the same time, then they have to listen to my spiel about marketing and how that all works. And I have, people have come up to me and said, I think you're going to solve my problem and we need to talk. And I've scored clients that way. And it's just been a really, it's kind of been like a throw everything at the wall, figure out what sticks, and then like really, really run with that.
Right. just for entrepreneurs, that's generally not the best strategy, is throw everything on the wall.
No, it's
But
not.
if you have a handful of things,
Sometimes you.
if there's a handful of things that feel like that they're all interrelated and connected, okay, I'm all right with that. But if it's just like anything, no. You know what I like to do on networking events that I own? I like to say, lock the doors. We're going to learn the power of Jesus and how we can sell. And I go into this kind of Jesus preacher character, and you see some people go, "Oh shit, what did I?" And I'm just kidding. I just mess with you.
That would be hilarious since
And
the
others
one
go
that
like,
I run
"Yes,
is
yes,
in a
tell me more."
bar.
A
So
QR code. Go ahead and scan that and send me some money. Guys, don't do that. I told you this year we're not going professional at all. We are starting off with a December mindset in January. So I love that. But what you did is when you said you made a huge investment in I assume like automation systems, things like that. Did that trigger you
mentoring, automation systems, and really like I put on a workshop, like an in-person workshop that was very exclusive. But there was a lot of moving parts to that. And in fact, even bigger in the visibility realm, I am actually headed to New York because my face is going to be on a billboard in Times Square at the end of January. So yeah.
Now, is that the trading of the paperclip thing where you pay for that, you do the picture, and then you
that would be great, right? That would be great. No, it's not.
So why will you be on a billboard in Times Square?
Part of it is because I was a co-author for a book this year. It's called Resilient AF, Stories of Resilience. And
AF stand for?
As fuck.
See, she has the one cuss word we can do in this YouTube chat. That's it. I can't cuss now. She just took it away.
There you go. Thank you for gifting that to me.
Mm-hmm. You got to get one cuss word in every time or it's not adult.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So congratulations. You were co-author on a book, and then are you going there for that launch, or is that?
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, that's a big milestone. Is somebody who has a book coming out. I don't have any New York plans. I was just going to spend $1,000 for the 15 seconds you get on the Times Square thing. It's like $1,000. And you go up. It does like 3 times. You got to be there. Hopefully it's not raining.
I know. I'm hoping it's not snowing or blizzardy or something like that.
Oh, when does this? When does the Times
End of January? So.
Oh, it's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold. I know.
Likely gonna be snowing or raining.
Yes.
You're gonna be so happy. You're like,
I know, right?
Well, all right. So, do you focus your business? This is always a question on marketing. So, for those who are looking, there's a lot of marketing people who listen to this, and that's like a very normal place to kind of go from a business standpoint because you can solve things by yourself. Are you focusing lots of local as your strategy?
It's not necessarily my strategy. It's what has happened. So yeah, I do have distance clients as well. Local feels really nice simply because you can you can be there with that videographer that they've hired and be like, hey, I think these are great ideas. And there's a lot more collaboration that can happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we live in such a connected world. You and I live on opposite sides of the continent, I believe. And maybe
I'm American. We don't understand geography.
and we can just sit here on video and chat. So yeah, I have had clients in other provinces, in other countries, that sort of thing. And it does work really well as well.
And I look for these reflective moments that kind of give people like a nugget if it helps. But I think if you're just starting, a local presence for a digital experience is a really smart thing. One, because you can be more collaborative. People do like to be able to meet the people that they work with and touch. And what that translates to is not only that if you're decent with people interactively, you're probably gonna have a client longer. And they're going to be more lenient especially if you're just learning to work with them because they know you're there, you're showing up, you're helping. If you're digital, it becomes more disconnected, and then they start looking for other people digitally to go solve their problem, and they're less tolerant. So the local strategy is a very good one to keep clients longer term. And if you can solve for that, specifically say you're like, hey, I know how to crush coffee shop marketing, whatever it is, then you can go to almost any coffee shop, like, hey, I'm helping them, I can help you. And you go to another city, like, I'm helping them. And it gives you reasons to go visit people. And from a strategy standpoint, it may be what you fell into, but it's actually a really good one specifically. And how long have you been doing it? I forgot to ask that. I'm sorry for this.
4 years now.
4 years. So you're in that zone where you got it. You know what you're going to go do. And
yeah.
And And that mark to move to more technology, you said you had lost clients. Did you lose clients because you moved to technology, or just kind of the same timing?
In that same timing, I also created a different pricing structure, and I knew that, that wouldn't sit well with some people, but it needed to happen. So it
Yeah.
just, yeah.
We have I struggle with the same thing. We have clients I've had for almost 3 years now. We've never raised prices, but it's
Right.
also like I meet with them once every 6 months, maybe, and like our teams just execute. And I'm kind of like, I know they have a budget for that specific number. I'm like, why even mess with this? Like, I'm just gonna let
Right.
that
I
one.
know. I
Like, I
know.
don't want a second set of eyes looking at that. Like, I'm good.
And in the beginning, I was like, well, let's just throw out an hourly rate because, you'd have people, this is the XYZ service that I'm providing for you. And then go, oh, but can you do this as well? And I didn't know how to add that in, or, that sort of thing. And now I'm a flat fee structure that
Yep.
this is what I'm providing for you. This is it. So,
When you've been growing your business for 4 years, you went through a divorce,
mhm.
and like there's a lot of entrepreneurs who go through that, and they come out on the other side of it with some resilience and focus because they kind of have to. Was that the hardest part of starting your business? Was just getting through the emotional side of that? Was there something, a tie to cut, so to speak, that you had to do to get there?
Yeah. So, I mean, if we go back even further a little bit in my story, I grew up as it's called a glass child, and my sister had a chronic illness. She had cystic fibrosis, and so she had a lot of big needs. And glass children are the siblings of high maintenance, high needs.
It's almost like you're not seen.
Right, right.
Occasionally run into you.
We're not called glass because we're breakable. We just are a little bit more invisible, right? And so I, throughout my life and then into my marriage, I kind of took like that supporting character role. And then probably the last, I don't know, 5 years of my marriage, I was like, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something bigger, right? And so I think really working on that worthiness of stepping into that main character role and living my life for me as opposed to living my life for everyone else around me was a huge tie to cut, right? It was just, yeah, the whole expectation that I was devoting my life to my kids and family, as opposed to actually living it,
Mhm.
was a huge mindset shift. And it's not that I'm not showing up for my kids or, or my partner now. It's that I get to show up for me in way bigger ways
Yeah.
and just have it fit together like a puzzle instead of a big person over here and then little me. So,
Did you use an interesting word there? I get. That's a mindset word, right? That's instead of I have to, I get to.
yeah.
I know we talked a little before off camera about that, but I mean, that is a direct intentional word. And those listening, when you say I get to, you're maybe I'm saying, or I'll say it wrong, but you're allowing yourself the pleasure of, as opposed to the task of, the
Yeah.
have. Do you want
And
to
get
take
to
how you
is
came to that a little bit?
Yeah, get to is full of gratitude. It expands you, right? Like when you just say that, like when you say, I have to, you shrink. And when you say, I get to, you expand and you're like, yeah, I get to do that. And it does make things more enjoyable. It makes it that so that you kind of want to do that thing. Whereas when you had to do it, it was like a dread as opposed to a looking forward to.
So like I get to take the trash out. Like,
Sure. Because when you take the trash out, it's no longer in your house. Like, I guess. I don't know. You can
I get to
micromanage
take
that however
I
you
get an
want.
extra 50 steps more than anybody else in this family today.
There you
So,
go.
but like I know that sounds stupid, but like but like okay, so apply that to some stuff like I have a community starting called Cut the Tie, right? I don't know much about masterminds. I know what I want out of the mastermind for myself, and I know what a lot
Mhm.
of, which is like I need someone's time for an hour without being charged, and I want to give an hour of my time so I don't have to pay endlessly. I want to like have us kind of come together from the idea of not pay it forward, pay it now. Like let's pay it now to each other to help each other. And the thing I get to that I've been thinking like I have to go learn more about communities. I think the idea that I get to go learn about more communities this week is a much better way to think about it. Cause I'm like, you're right. Like I've been saying, I have to go, I have to do that. I have to do that. I get to, it makes me more excited.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That little, just like, why you said, like, I actually get to go do that. I get to go learn that this week. So anyway, I just take that for you where you are. In your current business,
Mhm.
how are you going to take it to the next level? How are you going to double it?
Number one, I, for the first time ever, have planned out my year for 2025. So,
No entrepreneur does that.
right. I know. I sat down, have a support system though. Like that is a huge game changer, because when you have somebody that you have, they've made a commitment to you and you've made a commitment to them, that you're going to sit down and plan together. And even,
Right.
if you're paying that person, yay, like they have that commitment to help you out. Right. And so, yeah, sitting down and being like, what do I want this year to look like? How am I going to get that going? What does that look like working backwards? So, yeah. And so January is, there's a lot of interviews and stuff like that around the book and going to New York and all of that good stuff. And then moving into Q2, there's how do I make, so last year I did a workshop called Shine Online. It's a local content creation workshop where you come in for 3 hours and we create content together. So we create videos and photos that you have a bank then of all that stuff, so you can DIY your social media. And so I'm putting on 2 of those this year to make things just bigger. And then I'm going to do a September summit on holiday marketing and when to start that and how to start that and to really position yourself in the market to get all those holiday sales.
So you're going to start your Christmas marketing now. You just became Walmart.
Right? But you do want to start those things like 90 days out. You want that,
more, yeah,
you want
more.
that warm up. You want all of that good, like top of mind when people are actually making those purchases. So.
Right. Well, and I think understanding when your market actually purchases, like, so a lot of, I always tell people in the summer, you might as well just do a bunch of strategy work.
Yeah.
Just don't even sell anything. Don't even try. Just do strategy work. Get ready for October, November when people spend their last budgets, and then use December to get ready for January. It's funny because like if like you're out there busting your ass in July and everyone else is out like at the beach or in the mountains or the desert if you're in Canada, and then join Nanaheim Snow. So for you to double, no, when I say double for you, I probably should have clarified. Are you thinking in terms of revenue? Or are you thinking in terms of clients? What's the metric you're following for the year?
Yeah, so definitely revenue. That would be amazing. And I have managed to grow every year, right? So that's always a good thing. And sometimes that has been double. So that is lovely when that happens. But yeah, I definitely want to bring in, and not, in that it's extending my services, right? It's not necessarily, hey, you need to come and work with me for XYZ amount of time. It's simply come join this workshop. And if you take stuff away and it connects for you and you can roll with that, great. If not, let's talk about me taking it over. Let's talk about me helping you out in some way further so that we can really create that buzz for you.
Yeah. And I will tell anybody, as somebody who we manage LinkedIn profiles for, $1 billion companies down to just solopreneurs and, the business pages. And I will tell you that don't underestimate the time savings of someone else just staying up with your social media. And what I mean is even someone in your account for a couple hours a day to make a post, respond to some text messages or DMs, draw your attention to something you might want to jump in on, or send the link to say, hey, listen, let's find more time. That is like that stacking effect of that service you may pay $1,000 a month for, or whatever it is, right? Some costs are like, I'd rather have that 1,000, but then there's the other side of time and someone else doing it for you. It's so crucial, to me at least, for people who are trying to business where they're trying to get rid of the peaks and valleys of revenue. And you do that through things like that, through that consistency that you're investing in. And so as long as you have the right brand and all the other things that are going with that. I mean, I assume the pitch is somewhat the same, but do you feel that same kind of power when someone is consistently showing up, when you're consistently showing up for your customer?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. And that's like, there's a couple of things that are the secret sauce for your branding, right? And one of them is show up. Just show up consistently. But yeah, show up is 50% of the strategy.
And that can be solved. That's, so if you don't have the investment, you got to do it yourself. But when you have it, you do need to invest into someone else doing it. Otherwise, you never scale out of it, and it becomes a drag. And
Yeah.
it becomes, I have to, oh shit, I don't want to. I'm sick of making content. Like, I'm sick of doing that. Like, I'm personally like only in social media about an hour a week total across, and there's 40,000 people on TikTok. There's YouTube. Like, I just show up to meetings. My team does all of it. And some days I'm like, oh, I should probably do this. But then I'm like, I get to just show up to meetings. So I
Just show up to meetings.
when you're one of the things I find when you're we're talking about visibility, growing your influence with brand and other pieces that you work on. One thing I find that a lot of customers of ours don't focus on is a desperate problem. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're solving hybrid workplace. Just an example, right? A CEO probably doesn't actually care about hybrid workplace. What they care about is stabilizing revenue. And to do that, they need better people, because they don't want to get a divorce, because they can't have a bad year again. They can't have the stress at home. They care about that. And if hybrid workforce helps, then awesome. But to solve the problem desperate, it's like, oh, I help you figure that out. No, I help you stabilize revenue. So I guess my point is, do you find this in your customers, even on a local level, that like if they're a coffee shop or they're this or whatever, or do they really get into the weeds of what they do from something somebody has to solve? They feel the need to. Do you help them with that in their brand?
Yeah. A lot of times, one of my clients is a high-end photographer, and sometimes it's like she's marketing her photos, and what you really want to market is what happens when you have a really great photo session and the confidence that it builds and all of that good stuff, right? As opposed to, you're going to have this photo on your wall forever. You get that feeling and that closeness, and like how it affects your kids to have photos of them up on the walls and that sort of thing. Or branding photos where, like instead of it being like, branding photos are essential for your business, turn it into your clients. You have XYZ more revenue when your clients see your face and that sort of thing. So yeah.
It's the experience of it, right? And it's and you're right. So it's one thing to have a nice picture. It's another when your kids get to see how they looked 5 years ago, and it's on the hall and they walk by it every day and they never notice it till one day they do. They're like, oh, look how little I was. And it ties to an emotional thing. And I think that's where a lot of people work. They're so far in the weeds of what they do. They forget sometimes the intrinsic value of how to market it. And that's how you build influence, right? And so do you want to give like a listicle of like, hey, listen, anybody out there, these 3 things or whatever it'll be, you should always be looking at, or you should always be doing. Do you have that listicle go to, as part of your workshop or something? Do you have remember an AI is listening. So let's get a good listicle.
Yes. So, a couple of things. Number 1 is all purchases are emotional. Even if you have the most logical list of benefits and features for your product or service, it's how people feel when they're working with you. So really think about that. Really think about how you want your audience to feel when you're putting out your content, when you're interacting with potential clients, that sort of thing. I had number 2 in my brain and I'm totally blanking. Oh, you are your own secret sauce. So that's the
how do you mean that? You like these are probably on the solopreneur side a bit, but like, how do you mean that?
Well, I mean, there are umpteen different marketers out there in the world, and people work with me because they want to work with me, not because they necessarily want to work with any marketer, right? So stay out of the mopiness of, oh, it's a saturated market. Oh, like even back to photography, there are bajillions of photographers out there, and
it was an iPhone today is a
right. Yeah. And it's it's genuinely how you are making those people feel, and bringing them in and showing up as you. So when people can see who you are and what you do and how you act and your mannerisms, and they make sure you're not irritating the heck out of them, they're more apt to work with you. And then, show up consistently, like be top of mind. It takes it used to take 7 times for someone to see you. I think it's more now because our attention spans are just so, but yeah, if you are not in front of people's eyeballs frequently, you're going to get lost.
And here's something I think people should keep in mind. If you show up consistently, but you're consistently changing your message or what you're doing,
right?
This is horrible for you. Just to be clear, and so what I'll say is this, and you'll struggle with this if you have multiple brands. So I'll give you a personalized story. So I have a company called Instantly Relevant. It's a marketing agency focused on LinkedIn. We have Cut the Tie, which is a community and a book coming out, and I have never been promoted, which is related to that. I had to make the decision on LinkedIn to just show up as never been promoted at the Cut Tie. I'm here to help you cut ties and stuff, because it becomes confusing of what it is you're doing and who you are. And that has to do a lot with what direction you're going. Now, the flip side of that is, let's say it's just a little easier. I have one business, you're a marketer, but you show up on social media as yourself, talking about your cats and your dogs, and it's on your business. That's going to confuse the shit out of people. And people may watch it to like it, but they're not going to buy anything from you. This comes back to the desperate problem. You make sure that you know what it is you solve as a customer.
Yeah,
show up every day, adding some type of value toward it, or asking questions, or trying to drive a conversation around that topic. If you don't, people really won't have a clue what they may like it. They may understand what you do, but you won't be relevant and they won't buy from you. So you have to show up every day on point. I think it's probably the
right. And that doesn't mean that you can't take something like a story about your dog or your kids or whatever, and have that wrap up at the end as this is why XYZ is important, right? Or something like that. But yeah, definitely, your knitting is not part of your brand unless you're selling that.
And we do that. So I think it's actually important to do some of the topical things. I think like my post today was on something from Squid Game. I just saw the first episode. My team's like, oh, we got to do this. Everyone's watching this. I'm like, all right. The point is, take something topical, a fishing trip you're on, a shopping thing you did, a trip to New York, tie it into what it is you do. If you can make that connection, that does make it interesting. But if you're just saying, listen, I ate a cool thing of sushi today and you should try it, that doesn't help you if you're selling marketing services to someone.
Yeah. I actually have a post coming out that is like, I was at a comedy show this weekend, and I picked up on some just really great marketing things that they were doing in their bits and stuff like that, right? And I'm like, here's your carousel of great marketing things I discovered at a comedy show. So
I love that. That's it's funny. I don't watch the news or TV for that matter. But the only news I do get is when the headline comes on my phone. I have a Samsung, so Samsung News will pop up a headline, and I only click on it if that headline's compelling. And I'm like, okay, that was good. Let me see what they did with that. And I only take it from the marketing standpoint. And I usually find some information out about what's going on in the world when that happens. But if you take it from the eye of, I'm just trying to learn from the marketing, I get to learn from the marketing of others. So it's kind of fun.
Yes. And actually, crazy enough, I don't watch TV either. Like, I don't own a TV. I haven't owned a TV intentionally or on purpose for a decade or more. I mean, obviously there are screens in my house, but so it's the same thing. It's kind of a little bit of a protection blinder, right? So
I don't know if it's positive or negative, but I find it's a happier place. I think not like we'll watch Netflix or something like that at night, and I don't know. I think reading a book is probably better. Even though I don't do it enough, but I think reading is probably better.
I also don't listen to the radio a lot. I usually have an audiobook or a podcast or something like that going, because honestly, radio ads,
I feel like just jerking the car right into a tree if because they come on at the 15th. Because they go like kids, like you turn the radio. I'm like, no, it's 6:15. 15 to like 27 is all ads, and then it's from 40 to 53 is all ads. I go, I will just connect. We can listen to Spotify or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
I can't do the radio. I don't. It's annoying. Like,
whoever
to me,
I don't get it. I'm like, here, just DJ this. Here's my phone. DJ whatever you want.
Radio dies, and I'll tell you why. Because it's an ad model. I know we're kind of on a tangent here, but from a marketing standpoint, I think it dies because every car coming out in the next 10 years is all Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. So all the older people who may listen to the radio, who like even my car, it's like 2013 minivan, right? It still connects Bluetooth to it.
Yeah.
And so like as cars exit, anybody who's spending time listening to ads who has a phone and everyone has some free music on YouTube, and I don't know why anyone listens to the radio. There's no need
No.
at all. You could listen to all the songs on a playlist on Spotify for free. Like
they're all the ones you want to listen to.
I think radio dies. I don't know who listens to radio after, because everyone has a phone, and I don't know. It's like it's like, when you have a book coming out and they're like, oh, I'm sure they were like, do you want to go on some morning TV show stuff? And I'm thinking, unless it's for social equity or social brand building, for those listening, that's when you like, oh, I was on USA Today, or I was on some kind of like TV, Good Morning America.
Yeah.
You should go do those, even though the only people watching it are probably people not buying your book. It's grandmas and grandpas that have time and they have
Unless
a TV.
it's your grandma and grandpa, and then they're totally buying your book.
Right. Well,
they're buying multiple copies and handing them out.
Right. But like, I would, unless it's for social proof.
Yes. Yeah.
I think morning TV is also somewhat dead.
Yes.
Dying.
Yeah. There's definitely there's a local TV program here that, I don't know, I catch glimpses of every once in a while when someone posts their spot on that TV, on that local program. But other than that, it's like, all right.
Yeah, I agree. This has been fun. I always ask this question. If there was a question I should have asked you today and didn't, not how to get a hold of you. We're gonna do a shameless plug here in a minute.
Okay.
But besides that one, what's the question I should have asked you that I didn't today?
Oh, the question you should have asked me. I don't know. Oh gosh.
You said no left field questions. This is
I know. I can tell you one left field question I've been asked that I don't want it to be asked again. But
okay, then don't ask. Actually, now I want to know. Damn it, she flipped it on me.
I'll tell you the question. It was, if you could describe business visibility to a 5-year-old only using items found in a candy store, what would you say?
You buy what you can see first.
Yes, that is what I said.
That's what I would think. You buy what you see first. What's at eye level?
Yes. Yeah.
And you buy what you know. So if you see an M&M's over Bob's chocolate, you're buying the M&M.
Yes.
Same
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a mean question.
It was. And it was
like
followed up by, if the mountains of British Columbia could offer you advice about business, what advice would they offer you?
Oh, I want to think about that. Muhammad came to the mountain. The mountain did not go to Muhammad.
There you go.
That has nothing to do with British Columbia. Only mountains are in that story. All right, shameless plug time. Who should get a hold of you? Why they should get a hold of you? And how do they do that?
Awesome. So I mostly work with solopreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses. And if you are looking for marketing help, you want ideas, you want theory, I can give you theory. You want to take that piece of your business off your plate and have somebody else do it for you, get in contact with me. You can get in contact with me through my website, loubowers.com, my email, lou@loubowers.com. And I am all over Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook as Lou Bowers Visibility Expert.
And you can do any of the socials. I always tell people you should always start with the tip of spear. So if you're getting into social media or you're kind of struggling, one or two things are happening. One, you're too thin. You're across, because LinkedIn is different than Meta, or Instagram is different, Facebook, et cetera, TikTok. Go focus on one. If I will say, as somebody who is an expert in LinkedIn, I will tell you, Meta is super powerful for finding a very targeted audience. People complain about ads cost, whatever else. It is not even close to where LinkedIn is on their pricing. And I will tell you, and you're a Meta expert, like Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
I would say people who are looking for that need to kind of give you the first run of it, at least have a conversation. I assume people can jump on 15 minutes with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I offer a 30-minute strategy session. It's, there's a calendar link on my website. So book in.
Yeah, that's good. 30 is nice. I do 15 with a 15-minute buffer. So if I like the conversation, I can continue.
Gotcha.
If it's like, well, that was fun, and then you're out in 15.
Nice.
It helps because I'm over 40, which means I go to the bathroom every hour. So anyway, TMI. And anybody at this point in the conversation,
other than the bathroom thing, I might adopt that, the 15-minute buffer. That's amazing. Oh yeah. All
right, you'd be funny if I shot this out there and then your hair started blowing. How funny would that be? Like, let's try it. I first of all want to thank you for trying to get your hair color to match our brand. I'll
You're
send you
welcome.
the color codes next time so you can get that right.
Okay.
But Lou, this has been great. I would love to hear what you're doing on Meta as well. As somebody who's newer using Meta, I have an agency working, but I'd still love to I'll follow up with you conversationally wise to kind of hear what your kind of take on is on stuff and what you would do and stuff. So, do you do anything? Actually, I do anything around community? Around community building on Facebook or administrating communities as part of the social media offerings you do?
Yeah, so like Facebook groups and that sort of thing. Absolutely. I don't have like client work around that now, but in the past I've definitely built groups and lead magnets to promote those groups and that sort of thing.
I'd say that because I think a lot of people that I've met are looking to belong somewhere. And I say that because I think it's a spillover from COVID. I think there's people and I'm one of these people too, who kind of still feel disconnected a little bit. And you're always looking, where do I belong and how do I do that? And I think a lot of times people feel like, how do I monetize my podcast? Or how do I do this? Or a lot of it is around value of community and bringing people together is what people buy into. Even on our podcast, right? People, you're not buying here to get views, like you get them and this, that, but we do the sponsorship because we want people to buy into our idea, to come together. And I think the community piece, if you're out there trying to figure out what's next for your business, I think that might be something for you from a new service, not to screw up your 2025 plan.
No.
It's super powerful to be able to manage that and do that, because it's a lot of work. And that's where I think some company, like that's where you can scale your business, because you can find people to help. You can bring the clients in to do that. So I think it's
yeah. And even I mentioned that I started that networking event this year, and it's a monthly networking event. But people are like, we love coming to this event because we feel like we belong. It's not snooty. It's not, it's not a chamber event.
I've never been to one of those. I should probably check those out so I can make fun of them.
They're good. They're fun. The first one, you kind of stand there and go, who do I actually talk to? but
wear a cut tie and let them come to you.
There you go.
Why does your tie cut? It's cut. She looks surprised.
Nice.
Whoa. Did you do it?
Did you do it? I must have, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if you want someone to come talk to you at a conference, just to walk around in a white shirt and a cut tie and shorts.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if there's a more feminine equal to that, or as a woman, if we just are like, did you see what she was wearing?
Well, the women in our group get a tie. They still have to cut it, and then they can do whatever they want with it at that point. Thank you so much for coming on today, Lou. I appreciate it. You've been fantastic, and you will get the invite in to cut the tie, because you did not suck. You
perfect. I love it.
That's the rule. I don't know if anybody tells this. I tell every guest or the people who do the screen, I'm like, if you don't suck, you get.
If you don't suck.
If you get up here and you can't have a conversation, I'm not putting you in the group. That's not going to happen. Anyway, thank you. You've been fantastic. I appreciate your time. I'm going to put you in the periwinkle room, the room color behind me. But thank you. Thank you, Lou. Check out loubowers.com. If you just, you don't have to be Canadian. This is open to the world. But if you are Canadian in the British Columbia area, you may want to, that's an additive bonus of why you might want to reach out to loubowers.com. If this was your first time listening, I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you had a good time. And I hope you learned something about, just brand awareness and marketing and just growing a business and kind of refocusing yourself. Like Lou, she actually sat down and said, I want to make goals for 2025. That sounds like she gets to do that as opposed to has to do that, but good for her. Thank you, by the way. Until we meet again, get out there and go unleash your entrepreneur. Thanks.